How's it going, everybody? Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about if the Toyota Tacoma is right for you. This is a 2006 Toyota Tacoma TRD off-road 4-liter V6 with the 6-speed manual transmission. Trucks are like chairs, man. There's one for everybody, and Toyota Tacoma is a good setup, but here's some things that you really should think about. One, are you going to tow a lot heavy across long distances? Because if you are, I wouldn't recommend a Tacoma. I tow a small 4-wheeler every now and again in a boat, and it does fine over short distances, but I would not plan to tow over 3,500 pounds for a long period of time, especially if you're going to get the automatic or a 4-cylinder. That's not going to be a fun time. This has perfect power for what I use it for, and that's just one thing to think about. Another thing, fuel economy. If you're thinking that you're going to get, a 1/4-ton truck because it's going to get better fuel economy, think again. This truck will get about 15 miles a gallon, and I baby it every day. I drive it very delicately, and I get about 15. I get about 17 to 18 on the highway, but if you're driving city or mixed, you're going to get about 15. That's with the manual transmission, so I'm not sure about the automatic, but I'm sure it's just as bad. Another thing to consider about a smaller truck in general, it's going to be easier to drive around, park, etc., if you're driving in the city. But one thing that you're going to sacrifice is bed space. This has a 5-foot bed. It's the double cab, so it's got the smaller bed. But another thing to think about is it's a pretty thin bed. I have a smaller 4-wheeler. It's an 04 Suzuki Eiger 400 4x4, so it fits pretty snug in there, and I still have to leave the tailgate open so for it to fit. So that's just one thing to consider. This one has the tow package, which is real nice. I don't know what they're rated to tow, but don't tow much. It's just, you can, I mean, it'll tow whatever you want it to tow, but it's just, I wouldn't recommend towing over 3,000 with it. It's just not a good idea. Get something bigger. What else? Let's think. The 4-liter V6, great engine. I love it. I had a 2014 Ram 1500 with the 5.7 V8 and 8-speed automatic transmission. Forgive me, I'm going to set you down real quick. I got a pretty bum wrist right now, so I'm trying to, there we go. Oh, my wrist, jeez. Okay. Should have just had this open on the jump. But it's a good engine, it makes good power. It seems to be very reliable. I've only had it for 2 months, but hasn't given me any issue. I've put, OEM plugs, an air filter, cabin air filter, oil filter, stuff like that. But it makes good power. With the manual transmission, it's a real good setup. Going from that Hemi, I didn't want to get a 4-cylinder just because, I felt like that would be pretty hard to go from a small block Mopar to a 4-cylinder, so I decided to get the 4-liter V6. That, and for the resale value, not many people want the 4-cylinder. It's much preferred to get the V6, especially with a manual transmission. So that's one thing that's, you should really hold out for the V6, I think, unless you're used to, you don't care about power at all or towing or anything like that, or you just want something a little bit cheaper. But I would definitely hold out for the V6. One thing that kind of ask yourself too when you're buying one of these Tacomas or you're looking at them is, do you want a manual transmission or not? Me personally, I love driving stick. I think they're better, easier to maintain, simpler, and I think you get better fuel economy because they're lighter transmissions than an automatic transmission. But is that something that you want? Because you have that option in a Tacoma. Most trucks, at least nowadays, you can't get in a stick, and this is one of them that you can. So really ask yourself, is this something that I want to get a manual transmission? I did, so that's why I got it. And this one in particular is pretty rare because it's a double cab TRD off-road, but it has a stick. That's like, I've never ever seen another one like that. They're very hard to find, especially in a double cab like that, because people that bought a double cab usually got an automatic. But yeah, that's one thing to think about. Yeah, so I would definitely hold out for a higher trim model like the SR5, just because the resale value is going to be so much higher. And yeah, the entry cost is a little bit more, but it's going to be a better truck overall. And let's see, what else, man? I've only had it for 2 months. I paid $12,800 for it. It's got 140,000 miles. I realize that that's a crap load of money. That's the most money I've ever paid for any automobile I've ever owned with my own money. But you know, my 14 Ram got T-boned real bad, and my insurance company paid me out a lot more than what I wanted, or what I, had paid for it. And I wanted to get a smaller truck anyway with a stick shift, so I went for this, and I'm real happy. It's a very good truck, and I haven't had any issue with it. It's built very well, I think, with the 6-lug axles. It's got the rear locking differential, which is awesome. It's got 16-inch wheels, so smaller wheels with a lot more sidewall. I really like that. That's kind of my MO. I like the off-road look, and you're not going to curb wheels as much. It's going to be easier to balance, etc., etc. So yeah, that's what I think. I think overall, if you're looking at one, one of the main thing that sucks is usually they have a lot of miles and they want way too much money for them. It's the one thing that sucks about the whole situation with the Toyotas in general. And that's not just Tacomas, that's all of them, whether you're getting a car, SUV, or truck, or a Tundra, whatever. So that's just the one thing that sucks about them. But people love their Toyotas. They keep them for a really long time. And I think for a used one, if you pay, if you're looking at like a used Ram and you pay, let's say, $5,000 more to get a Toyota, if that thing doesn't let you down and it goes the extra 100,000 miles like they're supposed to, trouble free, then that $5,000 might be worth the time, money, and effort you saved than getting a Ram that might break down on you. So that's just something to consider. I'm not saying they're great. I'm not saying they're not going to break, because it will. Everything breaks. Doesn't matter what logo it has on the front of it. But everybody knows that the Toyotas are reliable, and I'll of course keep you all posted if anything does break or whatever. I'll keep you all in the loop about what's going on. I'm not afraid to say what I bought is junk or whatever. But yeah, it's a good truck so far. I like it. And just leave a comment if y'all want to know anything about it, or want any help looking for what you want, or just anything. I'm trying to grow this channel and make it bigger. So yeah, just let me know, and y'all have a good one.